This is the Tammi Reiss Show on the Rhody Sports Network from Learfield. Tonight's show is brought to you by People's Credit Union, the official partner of URI Women's Athletics. Pizza Gourmet, Rhode Island's wood-grilled pizza crust, is a proud sponsor of URI Athletics. Dunkin' Donuts, sip the Rhody way. Rhode Island Medical Imaging, the official medical imaging company of URI Athletics. Newport Propane, Rhode Island's #1 choice for all your propane needs. Ortho Rhode Island, the official orthopedic and sports medicine provider for URI Athletics. Dave's Fresh Marketplace, better food, better service. Now, here's your host, Zach Austin.
Welcome to the Tammi Reiss Coaches Show, presented by the Mews Tavern. We're live on the Rhody Sports Network as well. Standing room only here at the Mews Tavern. Woo! We got a packed house. How about that? Oh my goodness, what a night here for our second Coaches Show of the season. We also have this really tasty looking pizza in front of us too. I don't know how I'm going to make it through this show now. But of course, we're joined by the head coach, Tammi Reiss, after an awesome win last night. 2 points, 59-57 over Duquesne. It went down to the very end. Undefeated at home in conference play. Coach, how's the team feeling right now after that win?
Well, obviously we were really, really excited last night. Team was, I don't know if they were more excited about getting the win or the bribe Honey did with them about she would buy everyone Indian food if we actually won. So it was a win-win for everyone. But for everyone who came out tonight, I've never seen it this packed, but I want everyone who has a drink, raise your glass. Let's toast these two unbelievable student athletes here tonight, Awa and Honey. And on the win last night, salute everyone. Go Rhody!
Yeah, and great win last night. Came down to the wire. Of course, we'll be joined later in the show by Honey Kaur, senior in her first year with Rhode Island. Awa Kamara is here as well to take it all in. And, obviously that game was tough in a number of ways, being, a back-and-forth competitive game. It also was a highly physical game, a number of bumps and bruises. What's the aftermath of that looking like here one day later?
The destruction was we literally got banged up. I think all 5 starters got banged up. It's either an ankle or a knee. Besides Inez being banged up. So today we gave them, we were supposed to do a walkthrough. We gave them the day off. Tomorrow we won't actually practice. We'll do a walkthrough. And really it's maintenance, getting them healthy, getting them feeling really good so we can show up to the game and actually have bodies to play. So they've done an excellent job. Evan Drabick, our trainer, was with them today. And so it's just getting everyone healthy. But they're resilient, and they said, Coach, we're good. We're ready to rock and roll. So, but it was a brutally physical game, and it was really nice to watch us. 2 weeks previous, Duquesne dismantled us. I mean, it wasn't a game from jump. They went up 25 at one point on us. We couldn't find a rhythm offensively. We couldn't stop them defensively. And so I really challenged our team after that game, and to watch us come back and hold a great offensive team to 57 points and really execute down the stretch. I was just so very proud. Our whole coaching staff was so proud of the squad.
Yeah, and I feel like wins like that, and especially given that non-conference play, second halves were a bit tougher. Now it seems like you guys have found your groove late in games in those fourth quarters. I imagine these games feel a lot more rewarding, and I feel like you learn a lot more from games like that rather than maybe blowing a team out by 20 points.
As a coach, you always enjoy blowing a team out by 25 points or 20 points. So you relax a little bit on the sideline. It gives you some reprieve, but we weren't able in the non-conference to win some really close games. Idaho State, Providence, Maine, games that we should have won, that we were up big in the fourth quarter, and we couldn't close it out. So to watch the growth from non-conference to conference, and that schedule prepared us for this, but to watch us pull out UMass and now watch us pull out Duquesne, that's why you play the non-conference. And sometimes I say this, it takes longer to develop as a team. I'm glad that we're coming together. And I say this all the time, the players are finally identifying their roles, where my shots are within the offense, where I take my shots, and then, defensively, the chemistry between everybody. And that takes some time. Some years it develops very quickly with the portal and new faces, and other years it takes a little longer. And so I think that they've really kind of hit their stride and identity, not just individually, but as a team.
Yeah, again, Duquesne, 57 points. That is the lowest amount they've scored all year. I think their low before that was 61. And for those who don't know, for Duquesne, Megan McConnell, leading scorer in the conference. She leads in assists. She leads in steals. A very tough player to stop, and you guys got the job done last night. It was a great win overall. Before we continue too much further, we also want to quickly thank People's Credit Union. They are the official partner of URI Women's Athletics, and they do such a great job with their partnership. We're so thankful to have their support, as always. Wanted to ask you quick, of course, last night was also National Girls and Women in Sports Day, which makes the win even more rewarding. And the day before that, you had a great talk with the Women in Sports Club at URI. And it was, I believe, almost 2 hours long. I heard you were there for a while giving some great knowledge to everyone in the club. Talk a little bit about that and how that went. You know,
it's funny. I never knew we had a women's in sports club at Rhode Island until our manager, our new freshman, Sky, came up to me and asked if I would speak at this club that they started. And I said, oh, yeah, I'd love to. So finally we found some time, and I showed up the other day, not yesterday, the day before in the evening. And it wasn't full of just women, which when you think women in sports, you think women, obviously, that promote and support and embrace and other women. But there was about 10 young gentlemen there that, really love women's sports. And the goal of the club is to inspire and promote women. And so the opportunity to go to speak and give them some of my life lessons and the people that influenced me and inspired me, if it weren't for those people, I wouldn't be sitting here today. I wouldn't be coaching Rhode Island. I wouldn't have played. And so they were all the exuberance and the love they have for women's sports was incredible. And so I was just blessed to be able to spend 2 hours, answer questions, give them advice. They all want, in some way, shape, or form, to be involved in women's sports, whether it's from broadcasting or marketing or coaching, in some way, shape, or form. So I just thought it was a very, very unique club, and I just love the fact that they love women's sports so much. And it was a good room. And now I see most of them at our games in some way, shape, or form supporting all the women's sports at URI. So it was just overall, it was just a great experience for me.
That's wonderful, and I think when you combine that, a 2-day stretch, get the win on National Girls and Women in Sports Day, to do it the way you did. Couldn't ask for a better week so far to start for your group. And, it's funny, thinking back to the last coach's show, I believe that was during the 5-game losing streak. Now we sit here, winners of 4 of the last 5, again, unbeaten at home in conference play. And something that stood out to me from that time to now, and has really been a truth throughout the whole year, is that this group has always shown up to work. They're always they're always positive, they're always competitive, and I think that's the reason why the success has started to follow.
It's funny. This group, and I've said it all along, even during that 5-game losing streak, I think there was maybe 5 people at that coaching show, and Michaela and our marketing people were 2 or 3 of them. But the girls, they never get too high and they never get too low. They show up every day, and they do the work, and they embrace themselves in the process. And sometimes you have to stay resilient, persevere, and have a little grit. And that's what this group does. It's why we enjoy coaching them so much. Do they have the best record of the group that's ever played here? No. But they give you everything they have. And as a coach, and I say this to them all the time because 2 of them are here, 2 of our hardest workers, but I say this to Awa, and Awa doesn't always enjoy it, but coaches appreciate players that just come to work and they give 100% at all times. And the 2 young women that are sitting here tonight do that. So whether you win or lose, that's who they are as young women. So I'm pretty sure that's how they do it in the classroom. That's how they do it off the court. But that's what makes this group so special. So we always said, stay true to the process. Don't worry. It will come together. Sometimes it takes longer. And sure enough, as they've grown, and as we've grown as coaches with them, all of a sudden now you're starting to see the rewards from the seeds being planted. They didn't come right away, but the easiest thing to do as a fan or a coach or even a player is to lose hope and lose faith. But the real ones, The real ones never do. And when you're this close to shutting the door and quitting, you have no idea. The next day, everything can change in a heartbeat. And so keeping hope and faith, even when times look dark, that's the key. And I say that now because it's not always easy as a coach. I would go home every night, bang my head. My parents and Crystal are here. They're my sounding board, and they know. You start to blame yourself. You start to go to dark places. You start to, but again, I thank God I have the right people in my life. You never lose hope and you never lose faith. And I think that's what kind of turned our season. And having 14 of the best young women that you want to coach that believe in that show up every day. So that's what's the change from the 5-game losing streak to the 4 out of 5 winning streak. It's really them. Yeah,
no question about it. I will say I don't think we have to worry about banging our heads against any walls or tables at the Mews with the way that they've been playing so far. But to go back to your point, especially with Awa and Honey who are here tonight, 2 of the leaders on this team, Awa being a captain for the first time this year. And they both, for the younger players on this team, you can't think of a better example to look up to. They've both really worked their way through 4 years to where they are now. They both, after not playing a lot, whether you're here for the first year if you're Honey or if you've been here the whole time like Awa. And I imagine they're just such great role models for this group.
Well, it's funny. Awa got voted a captain because, again, of her intangibles, her work ethic, her positivity. She leads by example. But, also Awa's going through the process. Awa redshirted her freshman year. She didn't play that whole year. She lived in the gym with Coach A, just working on her game. The next year she plays a little bit. The next year she plays a little bit. Her roles start to increase. But I had a man come up to me today, and he said, listen, I am so impressed with Awa's growth. I cannot believe from last year to this year who she's become as a player. And if you watch, put your hands together. If you watch Awa work, every day, the amount of hours she spends on her skill development, you would understand why Awa's now almost a double-double machine every game. And people in the beginning would say, Awa's just a specialist. She's a rebounder and a defender and a screen setter. But Awa's become, get me the ball on the low block, I'll score. Awa's become, I can get some major rebounds and make shots when the game's on the line, and she's worked for that, and we embrace that. So, that's kudos to Awa. And now, Honey, during the recruiting process, I can remember our first phone call, and we talked for 3 hours. And after I got off that phone call, I called Coach A, I called the coaching staff, and I said, we have to get this one. We've evaluated her skill, but Honey is a connector. And what I mean by that is, she comes into a room and she radiates positivity. She's someone you just want to attract. And we needed that in the locker room. We needed a big personality, a voice, someone that could grab different people and connect us, not just from a coaching standpoint, but in the locker room. And Honey was just hungry. She just wanted to grow, and she has big hopes and big dreams, and she wants to be a pro. And so it was our must. It was our number one priority was to get Honey, not just to replace Maya or Tenen, but we needed her skill set. We needed her leadership and her personality much more than that. And so we were just blessed that she chose us over some big schools, Georgia Tech. She had some very big schools, and she ended up choosing URI, and we couldn't have been happier or more blessed.
Fully on board with that, and that big personality. It's a lot to live up to for the second segment of the show, but very much looking forward to it. And I think the thing with both of them that's great as well, and being the example for the young players is that they've been there and they've done that before. And now you're starting to see that development, slowly over time with the freshmen on this team. Palmier and Boo, 8 or more points the last 2 games, 3 blocks each of the last 2 games. She's someone that in a few years could be in that exact same spot.
Yes, well, you're seeing now like Sophie Vitale go from that freshman to now, Soph's winning games for us. Soph's scoring 20 points, 5 assists. The same thing with Palmier. You're seeing AD. That is just the progress. If you can retain kids for 4 years and keep them here and watch them grow, not only do they get a degree and have a home for life, but you have a career. You get to watch that development. And nowadays kids like to jump and they're here at school, here at school, here at school. But we're under the premise we would love to keep our kids for the full 4 years, graduate them, and watch that development. And that's what Allah's gone through. We wish we had Honey for 4 years. I really do. We're trying to petition to get her a year back here, and keep her to stay one more year. But, yeah. But definitely watching Palmyr and AD and Sophie V, that's kind of our core nucleus coming up. We have some special kids, too. Albina and Ava, who no one's seen yet because she's redshirting. She was shooting on the court after the game, after we won yesterday. But both her and Albina were on the court like Awa, Sophie Sen, and Maya used to be when they didn't play. And they used to stay on the court for an hour and shoot after every game on the home court. You're seeing our young kids do that. That's the leadership that we have here. And we really believe in retention and development. So I'm excited for the future.
Yeah, as we should be, and that was a great point you made. After a win, too, the way that game went, and after a win to have those two and Inez as well after just playing 4 minutes, had that big three, which ended up making a difference on her only shot. To have all three of them, on the court right after the game, despite the win, they could have easily went back home, celebrated. They went and they continued to work at it, which is really, really great to see. And going back to Big Soph, last time we were on the show, she had started a few games. She had shown some great flashes. She's taken it to a whole nother level since then. 20 points last night, a new career high. 4 3-pointers, a new career high. She's averaging about 5 rebounds a game as well, over 4 assists. And even more impressively, as of late, she's played almost the whole game. She played about 40 against Fordham, 36 last night, continuing to impress in an even bigger role.
Soph, I think, coming off her freshman year, it was really – your freshman year is never easy. It just isn't. There's a lot. You're learning a new system. You're trying to find yourself. Being a point guard, will the older kids listen to me, find my voice, my leadership? It's just a lot to take on. And so the jump she's made from freshman to sophomore is the jump I thought she'd make, both her and Inez. But Sophie V now has this confidence, and that's the thing I loved about her. When I would watch her recruit, the first time I saw her, a lot of people were like, she's too little, she's too small, I don't recruit that. I've never put a price on heart and how hard you play. So I don't care what size you are, because I was 5'5". If people said that about me, I wouldn't have gotten the opportunities I've got. So when I watched Soph play in high school, this kid was straight swagger. Like, she had a confidence. She was like just could lead her team, playmaker, really fun to watch. And my dad used to come a lot with me to go to Spooky Nook, and when I had to go recruit other kids, I say, Dad, sit on this court and just sit her. Don't let any other coach. You make sure we wear Rhode Island gear. You make sure she knows you're here. So that's what she had, and it was regaining that a little bit. But now she's got that confidence, and it wasn't easy yesterday. She was going head to head with the Player of the Year, top 3. McConnell's one of them. She had to guard McConnell and score against McConnell and run the team. And McConnell's a fifth-year senior. McConnell started when she was a freshman at Duquesne. She stayed at Duquesne her whole 5 years, and now you can see how good she is. And that was Soph's challenge yesterday. She went head-to-head. McConnell had 22. She had 20. McConnell had 4 assists. Soph had 5. So it was a really nice battle, and I think that really gave Soph even more confidence to be the leader we need her to be.
Yeah, and it feels like every other game, new career best, new best game, and I wouldn't be surprised if that continues the way she's playing this year. Just absolutely the confidence you talked about, wanting to be in those big moments, and she delivered last night. And the good news, too, is if, she needs to take a breather for a few minutes, even with injuries, you have depth. And El Top played that point guard position a little bit the last few games, too.
It's funny. AD is kind of the junkyard dog, the poor thing. We've moved her. AD goes, okay, she plays the 4 her freshman year with Emma, and she's a great 4. It's her natural position. 12-foot range, rebound, it's just what she does. But AD, as she becomes a pro in her career, she needs to be developed at the face-up. So she needs to be able to play 3-4. So we promised AD we would do that. It doesn't always lend best for what our team needs, but it's what we did for MP Foposi and certain kids. And so now AD gets to play the 3, and she's developing that 3-point shot. And then out of the blue, we go, hey, by the way, can you play point guard for us and run the whole team? And she does that. And so, again, she's very talented, but some people are like, well, why isn't AD scoring more and why isn't she doing that? We've asked her to change everything this year and to run a point guard from being a forward player. That's like saying, hey, David Green, come here and run the point while Bassie sits. That's not an easy task. That's really, really difficult. But AD, again, is very, very talented. She's very, very smart. And she did an incredible job at Fordham for a team that also presses the whole game. AD is just that player. She can do a little bit of everything. Very, very talented.
Yeah, hardworking and versatility, two things that can go together. I think in the Loyola game where she had some solid minutes at point guard, 11 points and career high in assists, she played well in that role when you've asked her to, and I think having that answer at that position when there's injuries is something that's important as well. You talked about some of the younger kids coming in, and you mentioned Eva Agba, who came in as a redshirt freshman, joined the team in January. Obviously, we haven't get to see her play yet, but what have you seen behind the scenes in practice that fans can be excited about for next year?
The reason we redshirted Eva is, number one, she came in right after Christmas break. And she had so much to learn. Not that she's not talented enough to play. She is. But learning, again, a whole new system, and it's compact. She had to learn it in like a week before our first game. And she really asked us, I really want to be ready and be good. Can I redshirt and learn everything, put the work in? She works extra with Jamie in the strength and conditioning. She's 2-a-days with her. Like, the kid, she just works. And so Eva is extremely athletic. Plays a lot like Tisha Hyman. Beautiful pull-up mid-range. That's her go-to. Can get to the basket, create her own shot at any time. Really working on her three-point shot. She can shoot it, but her mid-range and her smoothness is really, really nice. She can create her own shot anytime she wants. Learning the pace of our game, how hard we play. Sometimes it's an adjustment. Like, we've never played this hard. I don't run like this. I don't. So that sometimes it's good to see her in practice getting used to that. So by next year, she'll know our system, she'll know the culture, and she'll be able to step right in seamlessly. And I think it was a really, really good idea that we redshirted her, but extremely, extremely talented.
Yeah, excitement certainly for her and for the rest of the class coming in next year, which consists of two McDonald's All-American nominees. Third straight year you've recruited at least one with Vanessa Harris and Amori Jarrett coming in as well. That's going to be very exciting when the time comes. And also one thing we wanted to mention before it's too late in the show, fall GPA for your group 3-4-5. Another great year in the classroom.
Again, and I say this every year, Allie Jacks, our associate head coach, she helps with our academics with our Kristen Folan, who does our academic advising, who is absolutely incredible for our girls. But our girls work so hard, and they're not in cookie-cutter majors. We have engineers, two engineers, actually. Sophie V and AD are both in the engineering school. We have business majors. We have kinesiology majors. This isn't like acting 101 or things of that nature. And so to watch them, I think Katie Ledden actually got the highest GPA on the team. She got 1 A-, and she almost literally wanted to jump off the bridge. She would have had a straight 4.0. I think she got a 3.97. But I'm extremely proud of that because, again, this is how hard they do anything. My girls don't miss class. Once the season's over, they don't stop going to class thinking, I'm just going pro. They're here to get a degree, and they value that. And I think every professor at URI respects that. And that's the thing I say the most. The best thing that people can, when I'm walking through campus, and I have professors and deans walk up to me and say, I just have to tell you this, Coach. Your girls are absolutely amazing in the classroom, and that means more to me than anything, any win we can make. But they're well respected on campus and in the community, and that speaks volumes to their character.
Another great group in the classroom, just as important as what you see on the court, and it's been a staple of the program for several years now. As we head towards the end of the segment, obviously looking ahead, big battle with Dayton on Saturday, another team that's vying for maybe that last double bye in the conference with you and UMass and a few others, and then also to finish the season, 4 of these last 7 games are at the Ryan Center at home, where, of course, you guys love to play.
Yeah, I'm excited to be home. We've had a very rough, there were patches where we were on the road for a good amount of time. And then we played some top teams back-to-back, difficult road trips. But to be able to finish the season out, to have a couple games at home in front of our home crowd means the world. And especially our last game, GW, is going to be special. That's leading us into the A10. But I want everybody to put this on your calendar, really excited for the LaSalle game. Not this Saturday, but next Saturday. It is our Play for K game. So, that's really, really important. But most important, it's our senior game. And, we have some really, really special young ladies that I would love to pack the Ryan Center for Awa, for Sophie P., and for Honey. And then we're trying to put a nice social and reception after the game on for them. It's a doubleheader with the men, so there's just a lot going on that day. But it's a day that we're playing in their honor. We're also playing to raise awareness, obviously, and funds to eradicate cancer. But it's just going to be a great atmosphere. And then, obviously, the men have a doubleheader that night. So it is a big day in Rhody, but I really want to pack the Ryan Center for that game. Really, really important.
Yeah, absolutely. Be there this Saturday against Dayton, and definitely be there next Saturday for Senior Day and the Play for K game against LaSalle. Tip-off for this Saturday is at 1 p.m., and then that game will be at noon on Saturday the 15th. Coach, before we move on, we take a break, and we go to the next segment with Honey. Do you have any last words?
I want to thank everyone. It's never easy. The last Coaches Show, I said this, and sometimes as fans, you can lose faith and lose hope, but we have some of the greatest fans. It's one of the reasons I stayed here. The loyalty of our women's basketball fans. Now, I can't always say that about the other side of the coin, but I really, really appreciate it as a head coach. And more importantly, our women's student athletes appreciate it because, they want to put a good product. They don't always win. And I say this as a fan because I'm a fan and I'm a Laker fan right now and I'm going through it. I'm a Raider fan. I'm going through it. I'm a Yankee fan. I'm going through it. You don't always win, but your team is your team. And you support your athletes. It's why that's your team. And so I just appreciate all the people here, the people that have always been constant since day one and supported our program. Really, from the bottom of my heart, I love you guys so much. And I know our student athletes love you, and we really, really appreciate you guys. So go Rhody.
Very, very fun team. Winners of 4 of the last 5. Some big ones coming up. I will say the Lakers have a little bit of hope getting Luka Doncic in that trade. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Alrighty. Packed Mews Tavern tonight. Great crowd. We're going to take a break on the Tammi Reiss Coaches Show. And we'll have Honey Kaur as our guest when we come back. And it's going to be really, really fun. I'm looking forward to it. But for now, this is the Tammi Reiss Coaches Show powered by the Mews Tavern. We'll be right back. Back at the Mews Tavern, a very full Mews Tavern here for the Tammi Reiss Coaches Show, which is presented by the Mews Tavern. We're also live on the Rhody Sports Network. We're standing room only right now. This is amazing. I think, not to scare you, Honey, I think this is the most full I've ever seen this place for one of our shows.
I love these people.
We also want to thank Newport Propane, Rhode Island's #1 choice for all your propane needs. Family owned and operated since 1959, Newport Propane will treat you like part of the family. Visit them at newportpropane.com. And, of course, we are joined here on the back end of the show by Honey Kaur, who's joined Rhode Island this year as a senior. And from what I hear, you had a large food bill to pay after the last game last night.
She spilled my secret. I had to do it. My girls were like, guys, if we win this, Indian food is on me. I wasn't ready, though, but they were happy like we just won a championship, so I love to see them happy.
It was a great team win, and definitely for a good cause because of that. And you've had a great season with Rhode Island since you've joined. Obviously, you lead the team in scoring right now and rebounds, 12.5 points, 8 boards. Great stuff from you. But I want to start going back, looking at your basketball journey. Both your parents were involved with sports. I take your mom was involved with volleyball, and your dad also played basketball at a high level. Just talk about your basketball journey, kind of where it all started and where you got your love for the sport from.
I think it was really hard, because the city I was from, there was not a lot of basketball players, especially women playing. So watching my dad play with all these guys, I was like, oh, I like this thing. But didn't realize until I really get into it that it's really hard, but it's worth it eventually. But my dad was the one who really like started this and started coaching me. And my mom, she wanted me to do volleyball, but I was like, no, basketball's more fun. So.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say you made the right choice, I would imagine. And then obviously, you got to participate in some pretty cool things. NBA Academy India, you were also the first non-Australian to train at the NBA Global Academy. That was something that stood out to me as well. And I believe at one point you got to see the NBA All-Star Game and meet some NBA legends, some WNBA legends as well. And I'm sure you picked up some really valuable things from them that you've taken with you to this point.
Yeah, I think it was a great journey, as in like just meeting these people. I never thought, like, I think 7 years ago I didn't really even know about WNBA or just having these dreams, NCAA or D1. And then one day, one of my Blair Hardick and Maria and all these people in NBA Academy camps, they showed us this conference and presentation. They showed us this map, and on the map there was Asia and India, and then they say there's only 0.25% from Asia that ever get to play D1. And I'm like, after the presentation, I go to Maria. She's one of my really close friends, and she helped me with this journey. And I was like, you think I would ever be that? Like, or is it too hard to, And she's like, no, you can. Like, and to me, it was like kind of like no one ever done it. So to me, be the first one, and to me, have that hope and just try something new that no one ever done it, and not even have a footstep to follow, but being the footstep so people can follow it. I think that was a huge, huge, huge role. And as much as pressure it is, but I wouldn't want anyone else to have that pressure but me. So.
Yeah, that's a great reason to play, and you've done that extremely well. And then you also, this past August, you started giving back to your home country and to your hometown with a basketball camp. Talk a little bit about that.
It was really good. Like I was thinking about it the summer before. I was like, I want to do something especially for the girls back home. And all my life, I grew up playing on an outdoor court. I don't know if a lot of people know, but we don't have indoor courts in India. Maybe one day I'll build one, but and so all my life I did outdoor courts, and seeing all these little kids, especially girls, want to play because they see that, oh, Honey's doing it, I can do it too. So just kind of like go back, because I don't really get to go to India like every day. Like, it's just once a year. So I was like, this time I'll get like 50 to 100 kids to, like, especially girls, to kind of like show their journey, talk through them, and then just kind of like build that relationship and connection that one day I could help them to get where I am today. So it was really nice seeing that. And once the camp started, I was getting so many calls. They're like from different city and different countries, and they're like, can we come for one day? And I was really surprised. I was like, I didn't know these many people were following my journey. So it was really like a good realization point that people pour this much into me and into the journey I've been on since that long. So it was really nice kind of giving back to the girls, and just specifically just giving them hope that in that window that, whatever the dream, no matter if it's basketball, D1, WNBA, whatever that is for you, like, you can really do it no matter what people say.
I gotta say, if you ever do get around to building that court, Honey Kaur Court has a great ring to it. No doubt about it. And something that's been inspiring to me too, and I feel like this is the case whether it's a home game or no matter where you play. There's always so many people in the crowd there to watch you and you play, and because you're able to represent your country at such a high level, I just find that really inspiring, and I think that's a cool mission that you have in your playing career. I also want to ask, before we go too far in, for those who don't know, Honey is your nickname, I believe, and
yes,
not your given name. How did you get the nickname Honey?
So, well, the real story is my name is the real name is Har Simran, which means remembering God every day. And my mom, when I was growing up, I think I was 3 and 4, and she didn't want everyone to have that access of that name because she didn't want everyone else to butcher it. So she was like, okay, we're going to start calling her Honey. Not because I liked honey, because I didn't. So people think that too, because I was sweet, and that's why I'm not sweet. But so that's how I got my name, and I got to America because in India, honey doesn't really mean my love or my darling. And when I got here, and my friends calling me Honey, and I get like, oh really? Yes, I know that's my name. So since then, I think Honey Kaur have a nice ring to it, like you said, and people can really say it, so it's good.
Yeah, it works out for everybody. I got to say, it's easy to say on the broadcast, so the points for me.
Can you say my real name, though?
Persimmon? Did I get it right? Yes.
Yay!
There we go. Maybe I'll throw it in a few more times. Hey, I got to do my homework. Obviously, when you were initially recruited to college, get back towards your career before you got to San Diego. That was during the pandemic, and I've talked to Sophie Phillips about this before. And in some cases, especially being from overseas, I imagine it's tough to really visit campuses and talk to coaches in person. So what was that experience like for you?
Oh, I don't want to think about that. That was hard, and I remember I was in half of my process. I was in Australia, and half of the time when I was talking to coaches, I was in India. So I think we did a lot of like Zoom and just kind of like virtual tours and everything. Obviously, it's not, like I wanted to see more in person, but I think that's something that don't want to go through that again. But that was good because like I got to connect with a lot of coaches. We got to do a lot of like online trainings with other people and stuff like that. Even in Big Academy, they kept us on the virtuals and the tours and all the campuses and stuff. So I think that was good, not that expected, but that's how it was in that time. It was hard.
Yeah, and it sounds like, now that you entered the portal after those 3 years with San Diego, you landed here. It sounds like that process went a lot better. Talk a bit about that.
So I did pick Rhode Island as my first visit because, like Tammi just said, that we had this 3-hour conversation, and I think talking about other coaches that I had conversation and other schools that I had, the first question they would talk or say was like basketball. It was about basketball, and I wish they could know more about Honey as a person, because eventually, it's not all about the player in basketball, but what kind of person you are at the end of the day and what kind of connections and people you have around in this journey. So talking to Coach for the first time for 3 hours is a long talk. She didn't bore me though. I did enjoy her, so that's good. You're spilling the secrets right now. So it was just like talking to her, and it didn't like. I don't think she ever asked me any basketball question. Like she just wanted to know the real person and who I am off the court and what I like to do and how I was and how I grew up. And that's something that kind of like struck by me. And I was like, well, I know it's a business and I know they want me for this, but at the same time, like I felt like she, not felt like it's true, that she appreciated me more as a person, and that's something you really, really need in a journey wherever you go. If it's a basketball, if it's whatever passion you follow. So having these people around and just kind of like talking to them, and then I got to talk to the team on the visit, which was really nice, and especially my position coach A. I hope he was here today, but yeah. So just talking to them and just kind of like realizing that basketball player is not that all they see in me. They see this person and they see this person who's hungry, and they see her passion and what she wants and why she wants it. Where I think a lot of coaches, most of the coaches don't really pay attention to the part that why she started the journey and why we do this and for who we do this. And I think with Tammi and with A and with other coaches and with the teammates, they really pour into me, and they really saw what I was bringing, but not just on a basketball court, but as a person off the court. So I think that's something I really appreciated.
I got to say, I don't think you could have found a better place for that than the University of Rhode Island. And for everyone here at the Mews and everyone listening at home as well, there are also people listening on the radio, not to freak you out too much. What
you did. You just did. Give me a second.
But, for those of you listening, who is Honey the person? What's something that you want everyone to know about you outside of basketball?
Oh, that's a great question. I think besides being a basketball player, I want people to know that I'm someone who keeps trying, and if someone or a little girl would ever want to take something back from me, or even advice, is that things are going to be hard, and it's not going to be always unicorns and rainbow, and it's not going to be always 25 points, 30 points. It's not going to be always good. And you gotta embrace that. You gotta embrace the bad. You gotta embrace the challenge. You gotta embrace the bad days, because those are the things that are gonna build you as a person, and how you take those and how you persevere from those. And for that, to go through those bad days and to go through those good days and to go through those indifferent days, you gotta have this people. You gotta have this family. You gotta have these circle. around you, and I'm so lucky. Like, thanks God, like I got these people, I got these coaches, and I got this family as my team, and I never feel alone, and I never feel unhappy. Like, they always pick me up, and the most important part is that they know that Honey is someone who keeps trying no matter how hard life gets, no matter how hard basketball gets, no matter how hard anything gets. You gotta keep trying, you gotta keep going, because stopping is not the option.
And I think when you look at, when you do look at the basketball side in your career, I think that's kind of a perfect encapsulation of it, because you started out, you didn't play as much your first few years. At San Diego, just under 5 points a game, a little over 2 boards, 13 minutes. You've since upped that up to 12.5 points, 8 rebounds. You've more than doubled your points. You've nearly tripled your rebounds, and you obviously, as a main starter in this team, play most of the game. And a question from one of our listeners, Taz Newman on Twitter, wanted to know how you've kind of built yourself up training-wise, for that now. Taking on a bigger role, does that change the way you train and prepare for games at all?
So my trainer, actually, I wish he was here again, Coach Adeni Amadou, if I'm saying you're right. We call him A. Everybody told me that it's going to be hard, honey. Are you sure? Are you sure you really want to come here? It's going to be really hard. And I think that's something I was like, yeah. I want to come. I want to see the challenge. I want to see what he's all about. I want to see all this journey about. And I think training-wise from San Diego to come here in Rhode Island, I think I had him to develop me, not just him, her in summer. I had Coach Tammi in summer training me as a guard. Didn't even know how to do those dribbles and all that stuff, but she got me. So I think training-wise, like, it definitely that helped me to become or be even more confident, because the more preparation you do, the more confident you get. And coming here in San Diego, if you can see, I really never got to shoot a 3. And coming here, I see a coach say, take the first shot as a 3. And I'm like, what? So, and she drew a play yesterday. I remember it was a 45 chest. And she said, so you're going to pop and you're going to shoot a 3. And I look at A. And I said, you want me to take that shot? He said, hell yeah, I want to take that shot. And I go, okay. So it's like, but we train like that too. We train like in practices, we prepare that way too. We prepare with triple on me. We prepare the double on me and see how to kick the ball out. And then when I'm doing individual workout, we work on our 3-point shot. We work on our off the post shot, and we work on how kick out, post back in, and all that stuff. So I think having him in this journey, it was, I want to say, the best part. As a player, because I didn't have anybody before in my life who poured into me that much and who believed things that nobody even see, believed the shot that nobody ever saw me shooting, which was a 3, and making all this play for me, making all those. It was like I said, I'm really lucky to have him in my journey, and I'm so glad that I have these people who see something that sometimes I didn't even see in me, so, and have that confidence in me more than I have it. So it was really good.
Yeah, absolutely. For those who don't know, and I'm not sure if you know this exact stat, in San Diego in 3 years, you were 1 of 10 from 3. This season so far, you have 31 3-point makes. You're shooting 36%. You've scored in the 20s a few times. 27 was your best. You've had 8 double-doubles. You only had one of those before you got to Rhode Island. So great numbers all around it. And the confidence from Coach A is certainly, and this whole staff, is paying off. I like to ask when we do have post players on the show who obviously work closely with Coach A, if they have any Coach A stories that really stand out to them. Do you have any Coach A stories that you can share for us tonight?
I have so many. Which one should I share? So I remember it was Sunday morning. Don't record that. He's going to kill me. Sorry. So it was Sunday morning, and me and him had a workout. It was, I think, individual practices. So Friday, Saturday, like, we really, like, had really good workouts and hard ones for sure. But Sunday morning, on Saturday, he said, okay, so, honey, take tomorrow off. I know he was testing me. I said, no, I'm not going to take it off. He said, no, take it off. I said, okay. So I go home. I was like, all right, I have no alarm set. I'm going to sleep. I get a call at 6 a.m. in the morning. And my post players told me never to pick up that phone at 6 a.m. They told me, honey, don't pick his phone after 8 and don't pick his phone before 10 a.m. I did exactly the opposite. Pick it up and I see he said, hey, meet me in 30 minutes on the floor. I said, what? He said, 30 minutes, quick. So I put my shoes on, I go, and I'm the whole time, I was like, he's crazy. What am I doing here? This is crazy. And I go in, and he's ready with the workout. He's ready with the heavy balls. He's ready with all that and working out. And we had this drill. So I was supposed to make, from top of the key, I was supposed to make 14 out of 20. And until I don't make that, I can't go home. Sorry, guys, but this is the truth. We started the workout at 6:30. Guess when I left? Just guess.
6 p.m.
No, that's too much.
I oversold it a little bit.
So I left the gym at 11:30 p.m. And he said, until you make that, you gotta stay here. Yeah. I said, are you serious? Are you kidding me? He said, you said you wanted to shoot 3, so here you are. And I go, gosh. And I'm telling you, it took me 2 hours to make 14 out of 20. But I think it's today the way I shoot it, it's because of him. It's definitely because of him, because that preparation and that challenge is no bigger than a game now, because he prepared me enough with a mind that even if I miss the first 5, I'm going to take the 6th because I know I'm going to make it. So
I oversold a little bit, but 3 hours of a hard workout is no joke. Don't get me wrong. By the way, Awa Kamara also here with us at the Mews. She was recording that the whole time, so that story was caught in 4K. There's no running away from it. By the way, I showed up wearing this pullover, and I thought, okay, I would fit in pretty well. You have this really extravagant sweater. You really dressed to the nines tonight, so you have outclassed me there. I did want to ask too, being your first year with Rhode Island, do you have any memories that stand out besides Coach A stories? Do you have any other memories that stand out this year, whether it's on the basketball floor or off?
Oh, the new one, Indian food, actually. I think that one that stuck by me was, I was on the visit, and since I was here, I'll shout out to her. So we were talking, and I was actually in the apartment watching and just kind of seeing what's the Rhode Island is about and all that stuff. And I remember her asking me, and she's like, do you really want to come here? And I said, yes. And I think once I got here, after committing and all that, and once in summer when everyone was here, they were all they were just surprised. Because the other options I had and all that stuff, and to me was, and I was saying, I don't know the exact line what you said, but she's like, you really wanted the hard way, huh? And I said, yeah, whatever you want to call it. And so I think that kind of stuck by me, because it's not always about the money. It's not always about the fame. It's not always about the popularity and the points you score, even though I love scoring. But it's about the people. It's about no matter if I was going to be good here or bad here, even if I was going to struggle, I wanted to struggle by the right people. And that's something I told you on the phone the first time. I was like, even if I pick whatever school I pick, I want to stuck by them after basketball. And I think when Awa said that you wanted to you wanted to pick the hard way, and that just really, every day I think about it, because I did want to pick the hard way, and I did want it to, because this whole life that I never really got anything easy, and there's no fun if you get something easy. So coming here from San Diego all the way to Rhode Island, and just having these coaches and having these families and just kind of make these connections with the team, I think that was overall. And I always think about it the hard way, and how your path is harder because your calling is higher. And I think that's something I get reminded every day in practice and every time we work out with the coaches. And I think that's going to be my best memory, because they really let me be who I am. And they really let me be the honey I always wanted to be. I don't have to be somebody else. I don't have to please anybody. I can just be myself. And I think that's not even a memory. That's just something that's going to stuck by me. So just her saying picking the hard way was something that I would tell anybody, like, what's fun if you don't pick the hard way? What's fun if everything comes easy? So pick the hard way because it's going to be worth it eventually.
And as we've mentioned, it certainly paid off. A great season this year for you. One more question that I always like to ask our guests. Obviously, coming to Rhode Island, I know you spent a lot of time with Awa and with the whole team. And I was wondering if you've picked up any French in your time here at Rhody, and if so, do you have a go-to phrase that you like?
All the bad words, guys. Oh no.
I was going to say, I guess we'll have to blame Awa since she's here.
Exit, right there.
We got Honey Kaur with us on the show. I did actually have one more basketball question for you. I read that you, in the 2019 FIBA World Cup, you did 3x3, and something that Coach Reiss mentioned in the past is trying to implement aspects of 3x3. In particular, the coaches are very hands-off. The players, are a lot more assertive. They kind of coach themselves. Have you kind of felt that influence in any way in this year with Rhody?
I think, especially in practices and even in the games, sometimes I think 3-on-3 you don't have a coach. You have a coach, but they really can't coach you while you're playing, and they have no choice but let you play through your mistakes. And I think something, now that Coach Tammi was the assistant coach of USA 3-on-3, and I think her experience bringing that back, I think she lets me, not just me, but others, play through our mistakes, even in practices, and so that we can figure out on our own first. And when we are really, really like in a condition where like we're coming on the bench, and that's when she talked to us. And I think that's something that she lets us do. It's not like giving a green light or giving a leash or all that stuff, but she believes that if Honey made a mistake or if Honey did something wrong that she wasn't supposed to, she know that she's going to play through it, and she know that she's going to make it right on the other end of the court. So I think just her belief in her players is something that kind of like keeps us going and keeps us wanting more and keeps us hungriness that she talk about, that we really want to, like, how we don't get high and how we don't get low, is because knowing that there is somebody who have our back, knowing that somebody who believe in me on our bad days, on our worst days, on our good days, regardless. So I think she's the one who kind of keep us not too high but not too low, but keep us like consistently. And I think that's what helped us finally winning those last point games, which we couldn't really do in the non-conference. But now that we are playing together, and I got this compliment actually from the coach from Duquesne. He walked up to me and he's like, you guys really look like you guys like each other and you guys play together. And I was like, yes, that's actually the best compliment I got from as a team. And I'm so glad that people see that. And I know she says that it's the team and it's the girls, but I don't think she gave that credit to herself that much. But it's her that kind of keeps us together. It's her that don't let us be high, and it's her that don't let us be too low. And I think that's something I'm so glad that I got to find in a coach.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, for those listening at home, big bear hug from Coach to Honey there at the end. Before we sign off, by the way, thanks for hopping on the show. This was so much fun. Do you have any last word for everyone here at the audience? But before we sign off,
please come to the senior night. I want it all packed, and just keep supporting women's sports like you guys do, and keep pouring that love, because that really keeps us going. That crowd that you guys bring every day, I finally feel like somebody noticed me and somebody noticed all the work that we put in, not just the coach, but the players and everybody. And I think we are here because of you guys. And so thank you so much for pouring that love and supporting us, and keep doing that, and we'll keep winning games for you.
Don't forget, go to senior night. That's Saturday the 15th, noon tip-off. And also before that, next home game Saturday against Dayton. That's a big one as well for the standings. That's a 1 p.m. tip. If there's any tickets available, go out, go snatch them. Make the Ryan Center loud. That'll do it for us on the Tammi Reiss Coaches Show. Thanks to Coach, as always. Thanks to Honey for coming on as well. I want to thank the folks at Rhody Sports Properties who are here, who always run the show for us. I want to thank Andrew as well, our producer today, who will make sure we're on air. And thanks to everyone who came out to the Mews choose to listen tonight, again, go to the next couple home games. Make the Ryan Center loud. But that'll do it for us tonight. This has been the Tammi Reiss Coaches Show, presented by the Mews Tavern, on the Rhody Sports Network. Thanks for coming out, and have a great rest of your night.
Yes.